Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. When I was in 8th grade, I started collecting coins. We had just introduced the state quarters program. I actually have a funny story about when I first learned about state quarters. My family and I lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and one day we had gone out to lunch. We went to a Burger King, actually, and when I got the change, I noticed there was a quarter that had Pennsylvania on it. This was in 1999, and at the same time, around that same time, Europe had just introduced the euro. So I thought the United States had gone a separate direction. We were introducing currency for each state. Now that might not have been a bad idea, actually. And that confused the hell out of me because we didn't hear any news about states having their own currency and all that. And then I learned about the state quarters, obviously. And I went crazy over them, actually. And before long, I graduated to collecting half dollars. I would go to the bank and ask them if they had any half dollars. And before long, I realized that occasionally you would find a silver coin. And I went online to see how much they were worth. And to my dismay, the 40% silver half dollars between 1965 and 1970 at the time were only worth like 60 cents. But then I thought it would be a great opportunity to buy them because there was only a limited downside to how much you could lose. And so I went to the bank looking for rolls of half dollars. Eventually I collected quite a few rolls of 40% silver half dollars, if I remember correctly. Now, not long after that, my parents were arguing every night at dinner time. What had happened was my dad had lost a fortune in the stock market during the dot-com bubble, and my mom was very upset. My mom said that over the past few years, she had been pleading with him to please get out of the stock market and pay off their mortgage, among other things. The truth is, my mom probably didn't plead wasn't so convinced at the time. It was probably one of a dozen things that she said, and she remembered it. But they were arguing every night at dinner time. And I told my dad, because I had just looked up that these silver half dollars were going for 60 cents. I wish I had recorded a video back then, because my dad doesn't remember me telling him. I told him, you could buy $1,000 face value bag of 40% silver half dollars. I remember they were going for $1,200 something. I distinctly remember that listing. We didn't have digital cameras back then, obviously, and we were using dial-up internet. Everything was slow, but I could still etched into my memory that ad because I didn't have $1,200 to invest. I wish I did. And I showed my dad that, hey, take whatever money you have left in the stock market and put it here, because the most you could lose is like 200 something out of every 1,200 bucks. That's what I was thinking. But he thought I was crazy because I was spending too much time searching rolls of coins. My grades were slipping at school, and I wasn't making a whole lot of friends. I was getting into a lot of trouble with social kind of problems at school. My dad was really upset at me at the time. And so fast forward 22 years later, and now with the opportunities in Bismuth, I'm not waiting around, right? And I'm sure 20-some years from now, my dad will still be telling me that I didn't convince him to buy Bismuth, but fortunately, I have some money to invest now, right? Bismuth, tellurium, anything where what I like to do is look at the rarity of the metal in Earth, especially also the application in it, and look at the price, right? And with Bismuth, so for example, right now I'm recording this in 2024. Last year, everybody went crazy with Taylor Swift, obviously, and we, in total, all of us, we spent twice as much as all of the Bismuth ever mined in history on one Eras tour. Can you believe that? That's how ridiculously cheap Bismuth is right now. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.